Today we're going to talk about the miter saw. This is a tool that we use to cut across pieces of wood. Think making them smaller, not making them narrower. I'm using it today to create an art piece, so we're going to demonstrate how it works, how easy it is to use, and hopefully take any fear out of it. So let's talk about the parts of it. So up here we have the blade and then the guard for the blade. And you've got the handle with the button to start it up here. So as you go down, the guard moves and reveals the blade to cut the wood. Back here we have a fence. This is what you push your wood up against to make sure that all of your cuts are straight and even. And then down here on the bottom we have some pre-measured angles or degrees that you can rotate the tool so that you can cut wood at an angle. So today what we'll do is cut some wood at 90-degree angles and cut some wood at 45-degree angles. And then some basic safety tips. You always want to make sure you're wearing your safety glasses anytime you're working with a tool like this. And when you're working with a miter saw, you want to make sure that the blade is spinning fully before you bring it down on your wood. And then obviously you don't want to put your hands anywhere near the blade while you're working. So let's get to it. Okay, so for this cut, I am wanting to just turn the edge of this piece into a 45-degree angle because I'm making the border for my art. So I'm doing a frame around something. So all I'm doing here is taking off the end. So I've got it pushed up against the fence, and before I do anything, I'm just gonna pull this down to see how my blade lines up. I'm gonna line it up to where my blade is gonna hit the very corner of this piece. Once I'm good, I'm gonna put my glasses on. And that's all there is to it. If you like this video, I have more in this series of how to use power tools for a beginner. So just search for power tools for beginners on my blog, Love and Renovations, and you can find all the other videos that will help you learn how to use power tools, even if you've never touched one in your life. I promise it's easy. Hey y'all, I'm Amanda from Love and Renovations. Welcome back to my channel where I love to share simple DIY tutorials, tips and tricks, and inspiration for you in making your house a home. Today, we are doing a beginner's guide to power tools. If you have never seen one of my beginner guides before, I'm gonna link them here. What I like to do is take a power tool that you may or may not have tried out before and do a super detailed breakdown of it for you. So if you've never tried it before, it's gonna give you some confidence to pick up a tool and give it a shot. We've covered things like miter saws, circular saws, nail guns, and today we're tackling what might be the most basic power tool of them all, but also one of the most important, the power drill. Power drills are used for almost anything that you ever build. Everyone should know how to use a power drill. Everyone. Yes, even you. Everyone should know how to use a power drill, and if you don't know how to use it, then I am here to help. This is so simple, very basic tool, but you will find yourself using it over and over and over again. Whether you're hanging a curtain rod, whether you're hanging some art, whether you're putting together a piece of furniture, this guy is gonna be your best friend, and you really need to know how to use it before you can do almost any DIY related project. So today, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna walk you through all the parts of the drill. I'm gonna show you how it works, show you how to change a drill bit, give you everything that you need to move forward with confidence and dive into your first project using a drill. You ready? Let's do it. I really like to stick to a battery-powered cordless drill. You can buy corded drills. You don't have to buy the battery pack if you do it that way, but then you are kind of locked into one position while you're working. If you have a battery pack, you have to stay on top of keeping it charged, but you can go wherever you want while you work, and it's a little bit easier. Let's talk a little bit about the parts of the drill. So down here, you've got your battery. As we move up, this is the trigger. This is what makes it go. If you pull just a little, it moves slower. As you pull harder, it goes faster. This switch right here is what sets it to forward or reverse. This arrow means it's going in. This arrow means you're pulling it out. Up here we have what's called the chuck. This is how you insert drill bits. You rotate it to open it, put your drill bit in, and then you rotate to close. You've got the torque control up here. This controls how much power is being given to the drill. I usually keep it on a higher number, and on this particular drill, you've got different switches for different activities. When you're drilling, you're gonna want it on this drill bit right here. And then finally, you have the gear switch up here. It's all about the speed of the drill, and if you're struggling with your screws getting stripped or things just not working the way that you want it to, try messing with these switches and these controls and see if that helps you out at all. Here's what it looks like to actually use the drills. Simply place the drill bit against whatever you're trying to drill your hole in, pull the trigger, and use some pressure to drill your hole. If you're driving a screw in, you'll use a driver bit. This particular screw is self-drilling, which means that I don't need to pre-drill a pilot hole, but if you're using a regular screw, you'll want to. Simply use the forward motion of the drill to drive the screw in, and then if you want to pull it out, you just flip the switch to reverse, press the drill bit into the head of the screw, and it'll pull it out for you. One of the questions I get all the time is, what is the difference between a regular old drill and an impact driver? These are two different tools, and it can be really confusing because people toss around both words a lot. I'm going to tell you the difference. I'm going to tell you how to know which is which and how to know which one you need. So this is a regular old drill. As you can see, tighten and loosen the chuck like this. You can put a drill bit in here, or you could put a driver bit in here. It does both. Now when you're using a regular drill, sometimes as you're drilling in, you might need to apply some pressure with the back of your hand to really get that screw in there or create that hole. Impact driver, on the other hand, is really just used for driving in screws and other fasteners, and it's a little more powerful. So if you're dealing with a really hard wood, if you have got something a little more tricky, challenging, you just don't want to put that force behind it, having an impact driver can be really, really useful. But if you're just starting out and you don't have either, I recommend you start with a basic drill driver. This can do so much, and you'll get really, really far before you feel like you need to upgrade. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any more questions about how to use a drill, just visit the link in the description below for tons more details. I'll see you next time. Hey y'all, I'm Amanda from Love and Renovations, and I'm here today for the next video in our Power Tools for Beginners series. And today we're going to be talking about the circular saw, which is actually one of the most important tools in your toolbox and one of the first things you're probably going to want to get if you're starting out with power tools. A circular saw is used very similarly to a miter saw or chop saw, which we've already covered. And what it does is it can cut across larger pieces of wood. It's extremely mobile, so you can take it anywhere that you need to go. It's a very simple and straightforward tool. You've got the blade and the guard down here. The guard will automatically go back as the blade gets closer and closer to the wood, and you've got your trigger up here with the safety to make sure that you don't start it on accident. Other than that, that's pretty much all there is to this tool. You pull the trigger, cut the wood. Okay, so as you can see, there's a little notch here down on the foot of the saw that shows you exactly where the blade is. So when you're lining up your blade with the wood, you just make sure that your line fits inside this little notch and you'll be exactly where you need to be. Okay, now I'm going to show you a rip cut, which is cutting down a piece of wood to make it narrower. This is something that couldn't be done on a miter saw because this piece of wood is much too big. What you would normally do is cut this on a table saw, but the circular saw is actually much smaller, it's more portable, and it's way more affordable. So I'm going to show you how you could use that. You could have just this one tool, and it kind of combines the power of both the miter saw and the table saw into one handy little tool. Then be sure to check out my blog, loveandrenovations.com, where you can see all of the other videos in our Power Tools for Beginner series. We've already covered tools like the Jigsaw and the miter saw, and there's way more to come, so be sure to check it out. Hey y'all, I'm Amanda from Love and Renovations. I can't say. saw for, or chop saw.
Start over. I'm gonna
show you, what am I saying right now? Get narrower. This is something that could not be done. I have my safety glasses on. We're gonna try that again. Okay. Hey y'all, welcome back to my Power Tools for Beginners series. In this video series, I walk you step by step through using different power tools that you may have never tried before to help you learn how to use them and give you the confidence to try them out in your home. Today, we're going to be talking about one of my very favorite painting tools ever, the Wagner Smart Sidekick Power Roller. In this video, I will show you how to set the Sidekick up, I'll show you how to use it, and most importantly, I'll show you how to clean it when you're done. So, follow along to learn how to use the tool and see how the nursery turns out. To assemble your sidekick, you're going to take this main piece and bring it right up next to your paint can. There's a little ledge here. The paint can's going to go right on top of it. You have your little yellow holder for the pump. You're going to take this pump, put it all the way to the very bottom of the paint can, and click it into place. Make sure it's nice and sturdy, and make sure it's touching the bottom of the paint can. So this is essentially holding the paint can in place. The paint will come up through this pump, through this long hose, and all the way to your roller. You can see that there's holes here where it allows the paint to go through. You're going to put your roller cover on here, like so. Click it into place, and you are ready to paint. Okay, so let's chat about how to actually use this thing. Once you set it up, which as you can see is very simple, all you have to do is turn it on at the base, and then push this button, and wait for the paint to start coming through. Once it gets here, you'll start to see it seeping up on the roller. Once that happens, I'm going to roll it on here until I get it nice and covered. Then I'm going to turn it off and paint until I run out. I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, as you can see, it takes a few seconds for the paint to get all the way up to the top. And then once it does, you're going to want to just roll along the wall until you can see that it's not making these little striations anymore. It's fully saturated. Now my roller is all the way saturated. I'm going to paint until I run out of paint, and then I'll load it back up. Alright, so as you can see, I'm starting to get really thin coverage here, so I'm going to reload my roller. I'm going to come over to this side so you can see. All that I have to do is push my button. Here we go. Once my coverage looks good again, I'm ready to paint. So I'm just going to continue this process of rolling until my coverage is low, hitting the button, rolling it a bit, and then turning it back off until the whole room is painted. Okay, so it's the moment you have all been waiting for, the cleanup. First, I will note, the instructions that come with any of Wagner's products are always fantastic. I have this little quick start guide. It shows you how to clean. I have it with me every time I clean, and I follow the process just to be sure I didn't miss anything. So I'm going to follow it as we go. So step number one, make sure that you have a big 5-gallon bucket full of soapy water, usually do warm water. Submerge suction tube into the cleaning solution. So you're gonna take it out of the paint can and put it over into the cleaning solution. And then I just drop this in there. The next step is to take the roller cover off. You can just put it in here so that you can clean it. Then you're gonna take the roller arm and put it back into the container, because now we're gonna make sure that we don't waste any paint. We're gonna run it all the way through, and this will pump paint that's in here back into the container. So we're gonna run it for 15 seconds. That's it. Here we go. So once I've run this through and I know that there isn't a lot of paint left in my hose, I'm gonna take this out. I'm gonna make sure to get all the stray paint off of it, and I'm gonna hang it on my bucket like so. So now I can remove this paint can because it's not doing anything anymore. There we go. So now I've got both the suction and the roller arm cover in my warm soapy water. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn this on, I'm gonna set a timer for 10 minutes, and I'm gonna let this warm soapy water pump through the hose and back into the bucket for 10 minutes. Here we go. So the next step is to disassemble the roller cover and all of the mechanisms that go on this. I've already thrown away my cover, pulled this apart, cleaned it off really fast, it's done. So our final step is to get rid of all of the excess water that's left in this hose. So I've taken the suction part out of the bucket and I put the roller arm back into the bucket. And then I'm gonna run it for another couple of minutes just to ensure that all of the water travels through the hose and back in the bucket. So everything is clean except for this guy. All I've got to do is take this off, clean it in my sink, and I'm done. So this process took, I would say, 20 minutes-ish, but very little of it was actual active work on my part. It was just a lot of sitting around and waiting. So I'm gonna clean this off, I'm gonna wrap it up, and then I'm ready to put it away. That's all there is. Hey y'all, welcome back to our Power Tools for Beginners series. Today we're going to be talking about the Jigsaw. The Jigsaw is a tool that we use for cutting thin wood in a more intricate shape. For example, today I'm working on it to cut out letters for a sign I'm making for our workshop. So what a jigsaw can essentially do is take something like this and turn it into this. So the Jigsaw is very straightforward, it's very easy to use. We have a cordless model, which means that we don't have to worry about a cord while we're working. We have a rechargeable battery here. It just makes it a little more mobile and easy to use. Blade is down here. Obviously, you want to keep your fingers away and use your safety glasses. The trigger is right here, and on this side there's also a little button that you can press to make it continue running even if you aren't pressing the trigger. It's really good for if you're making a super intricate cut and you need to focus and not have to hit the trigger button. It's probably also a little more advanced. I'm not there yet. Alright, so here we have a speed gauge that you can adjust the speed that the blade moves for different types of materials. So for example, if you're cutting wood, you're going to have it on a 3. If you're cutting a different material, maybe like metal, you're going to have it down on a 0 so that the blade moves slower. That is the Jigsaw, and let me show you how to use it. If you like this video and want to learn a little bit more about power tools, there are more videos in this series on my blog. Just go to loveandrenovations.com, search for Power Tools for Beginners, and you can see all the videos in the series so far, and there are more to come. So thanks for watching.